Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Well, it's Friday, March the 10th, and time is marching on. Welcome to another episode of WIN TV. I'm your host, Denise Rolark Barnes, publisher of the Washington Informer newspaper, and I'm so glad you decided to share this time with us again today. I hope you've had a chance to pick up a copy of this week's issue of the Washington Informer. Let me grab my copy from over here because I love to share with you the fact that we actually keep printing. So you can pick up a print edition of the Washington Informer if you're in the DMV, DC, Maryland, or Virginia. We have lots of locations near throughout the area. And so we'd love for you to pick up a print copy of the Washington Informer. But if you're just one of those who likes to read online, that's okay too, because we've got an edition for you as well. You can read us at www.washingtoninformer.com. And if you're watching on Facebook, as a matter of fact, we'd love for you to go ahead and hit share so your followers can see the broadcast. And if you're watching on Twitter, be sure to follow us and we'll follow you back. And please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Washington Informer TV, no spaces, just one word, Washington Informer TV. And you can watch us and follow us there. Chevy was kind enough to show not only the digital edition, and inside this edition, We also have our quarterly health, wellness, and nutrition supplement. And this month we focused on women's health. You know why? Because it's Women's History Month. And it's unfortunate that women have been dealing throughout history with different illnesses or conditions that we should be far beyond by now, but we're not. And so we thought we would just talk about some of those situations that women encounter because it is Women's History Month, and to see what we can do to help improve the quality of health and health care for women, particularly those of you all in the Washington area. So, hey, we've lots of good stuff in the Informer, lots of great stories. You might even see somebody you know in the Washington Informer. So make sure you pick up a copy. And I also would hope that when you go to our website at WashingtonInformer.com, you will find a place where you can sign on and become sort of a member of our Washington Informer family. We'd love for you to do that, to sign up so that you can get our daily e-blast, invitations to events that are happening through the city, special offers by some of our advertisers. And we're going to talk about some of that today as well. But I hope that you will go ahead and sign up. We'd love to have you as a regular reader of the Washington Informer in print and online. And of course, watching us here at WIN TV. So I don't know if you all are ready to change your clocks. I'm not. I woke up at 5 something this morning, knew that 6 o'clock was on its way, and thought to myself, I'm so glad that now it's 6:30, the sun is up, it's a beautiful, bright day, and now we're going to change time again back to daylight savings time. The clocks will move forward. Is it forward? The spring forward on Sunday night at 2 a.m. So now it's going to be another hour of darkness in the morning. But, you know, that's only for now, because in time, you know, it'll get lighter earlier. But, you know, folks are still trying to get this Sunshine Protect Act passed, which is a bill in the House, and will hopefully be sent to President Biden later this year. And that will eliminate daylight savings times. I want to know what you all think about that. For me, I think I just don't like this changing the clock back and forth. I've been more conscious of it this year because I know that there's a bill out there that's going to impact my life just like yours. But I would love to know what you all think about it. So, you know, if you're watching on any of those channels that I just mentioned, put a note out there, and we're going to add something to it to let me know, or let us, our viewers, know what you think about daylight savings time. I know that one of our regular viewers, Vera Abbott, who, full disclosure, is my mother, so I'm glad that she's watching as well. But tell me what you think about daylight savings times. You've had to deal with this a little bit longer than some of us, and we know there's a history behind that, and we may talk about that later. But does it matter to you whether we have to move our clocks forward and back and then backwards, or would you just like it to be the same all the time, like it is in many states already across the country? Well, let's move on to today's show. We have joining us today for our Black Women in History segment, Mina Nankinny, who is the Vice President of JP Morgan Private Bank, who will talk about her success at the company. So when we talk about Black history, when it comes to the Washington Informer, and I have to say other Black newspapers across this country, we are documenting history every single day. So we may have moved beyond Black History Month. We're now into Women's History Month. We also highlight women throughout the year. So, but we're taking particular attention this time to really focus on some women of today who are history makers. So Mina Nankinny is one of those. And I'm extending a personal invitation for everyone to come on out and join and participate and enjoy the National Cherry Blossom Festival. And Meg Cohen, Director of Marketing and Communications for the National Cherry Blossom Festival, is going to tell you why. It could be just because Denise asked you to, but there's more than that. And Meg is going to tell us about that and all of the events that'll begin on March the 18th. We also are going to talk to Victor Holt, President and CEO of VTech Solutions, about the company's efforts to bring attention to accessible healthcare. So we're glad that he's joining us today. And last but certainly not least, we'll talk to Janelle Delaney, owner of Insure the Juice. She will be sharing how juicing can help make people eligible for insurance. Okay, can't wait to have that conversation. So before we bring on our guests, let's watch this week's news broadcast by Curtis Knowles.
This is WIN TV News, bringing you the news that matters. A top White House official said that a significant data breach at the health insurance marketplace for Washington, D.C. on Tuesday potentially exposed personal identifiable information of hundreds of lawmakers and staff. The notice said that the data included, quote, full names, date of enrollment, and relationships and emails, but no other personal identifiable information. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries requested additional information from DC HealthLink on what data was taken, who was affected, and what steps are being taken to protect House victims of the breach. The Justice Department's federal investigation has found that the Louisville Metro Police Department and the Louisville/Jefferson County Metro government engaged in a pattern of unconstitutional behavior by routinely using excessive force, conducting searches based on invalid warrants, and unlawful discrimination against Black people in enforcement activities. The review, which was conducted by the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division, also found that the police violate the rights of those, quote, engaged in protected speech critical of policing, and that some officers use racial slurs about Black citizens. The city has reached an agreement in the principle to resolve the constitutional violations found by the federal investigators. A Louisville Metro Police Department official said, quote, Breonna Taylor and the other problems of our counties are symptoms of problems that we have had for years. Performers for the National Cherry Blossom Festival's opening ceremony in D.C. were announced on Tuesday. The ceremony will take place on March 25th at the Warner Theater in Northwest from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. It is co-presented with the Japan Foundation, and the ceremony will highlight Japanese arts and culture through a one-time only performance by Travis Japan and other entertainers. A moment of friendship will officially open the festival during the ceremony with participants Koji Tomita, the Japanese ambassador to the U.S., and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you so very much, Curtis. I tell you, you're keeping us abreast of all the latest news here in Washington, D.C. And a lot of this news, some of it we know about and some we don't, but we appreciate what you do to make sure that we are abreast of what's going on in the city. That's part of what we do here at WIN TV. Anyway, let's move on because I'm excited to talk to Mina, who is with Nankani. Right. Make sure I said it right. Vice President of JP Morgan Private Bank. Welcome to the show, Mina.
Thank you, Denise. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, just so I want to start off again. I mean, you are Director of Marketing and Communications. I'm sorry, I've got that wrong. I am just scrolling along here. But anyway, tell us about your background and what got you involved in this whole banking industry.
Yeah, sure. So I, first of all, I work in the private bank, and just as a sort of level set, what that means is that I work with my colleagues and we work with individuals, families, and nonprofit organizations to deliver tailored investment advice around wealth planning and wealth creation. And that includes planning around investing, banking, lending, taxes, charitable giving, all to sort of help our clients to maintain longer term goals. And I can share a little bit about my background as well. I actually started in nonprofits. I spent time in India and really thought that I was going to go down the path of working with nonprofits, and it was quite formidable for me. My parents worked at the World Bank. That was my whole orientation. And, I spent time there working with nonprofits and thinking that, this was the best use of my time. But really, I spent a lot of time working to help organizations access funding. And I thought, well, what's the best way for me to do that? And I thought maybe I could just switch my intention and think, rather than raising capital for sort of a short-term goal, work with mission-driven organizations and help them to grow their asset allocation and help them to really think about their long-term planning. And so I shifted my focus to finance.
So we had a little blur or something with the connection. And so when you mentioned India, I don't know if folks actually heard that. So can you go back and mention kind of what your experience was like in India? And I don't mean Indianapolis or Indiana. No. We're talking India.
Yes, we're talking India. So I am half Indian. And so my time in India was very special to me. I received a fellowship and I went and I spent a year there working with migrating populations. And I think I said before, but I'll reiterate, I thought that my future was in nonprofits. I wanted to work with nonprofit organizations. And I wanted to help them to get access to funding, but I found that that was the majority of the work that I was doing. And so I thought, how can I do this in an intentional way? And so rather than just raising funds for sort of a one-time project, I sort of stepped back and thought, how do I approach this from a financial aspect? And went back to school when I returned to the US and switched my career to finance so that I could really take courses and make sure that I was working on helping mission-driven organizations to have a plan for their long-term goals.
I'm going to take you back a little bit further. Uh,
Okay.
Mina, at let's say 9, 10, 12 years old, and everybody's saying, "Oh, Mina, it's so nice to meet you. So, what do you want to do when you grow up?" What was your answer?
Oh gosh, at the time I probably was I was probably a biologist or a photographer. I mean, I am always been very observant. I've always sort of had an eye on how to improve situations, but I think trying to figure out how to narrow and my efforts and my focus to help people has really brought me the most joy out of my career and probably out of my friendships as well. I have a client who says that I'm a net giver, and I kind of love that. I just want to make sure that I'm doing the best for my clients. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, this Women's History Month, just your presence makes a big difference as well, because with only about 6% of the top financial firms having women in senior positions, and you're one of that percentage. I mean, it's a small number. What do you think one has attributed to your success, and how challenging has it been for you to be where you are?
I appreciate you saying that. I think it's really important for us to recognize each other in the roles that we are and to sort of make visible all of the work that we do kind of behind the scenes. So thank you for that recognition. And I would say that, I'm really always trying to strive and learn from those around me. I'm very determined to succeed. I want to be thoughtful and diligent in my work. And I think it's important to know that we don't succeed on our own. We need community, we need support. And so I look to my friends, I look to my peers for that.
And give us sort of one of those, let's say, stories, because we're storytellers, but we tell other people's stories. So if you could help us to tell your story as it relates to your journey, and probably one of the things that made you feel like, either I'm alone in this business or I'm not alone because I've gotten support from whomever. One of those pivotal moments that let you know you were in the right place despite whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's one moment. I mean, there's several great moments, but one recently that stands out that really propelled me to keep going in this field. And as I mentioned, I work a lot with individuals and families. And there's one family, a Black family, wealthy Black family that I truly respect. And I had been talking to them for some time. And they called me up and they said, "We want to work with you. We want to work with JP Morgan, but we want to work with you. And we know what you're doing. We know how hard you're going to work to support us and that you have our best interests at heart. And so we choose you." And it was just so fulfilling because I get the chance to pay it forward. We have a lot of best practices. We have a lot of research. We have a lot of, smart people in the bank, and being able to sort of share that with Black clients and all clients, honestly, is a joy. And I'm glad that we can do that and have the opportunity to not just help this family, but to help their children and their grandchildren.
On that side too, I mean, I want to ask, and we found this during COVID, for business owners, particularly Black business owners, when people said, contact your bank and talk to them about, your issues or whatever we may have encountered during that time. And I found that a lot of businesses don't have relationships with their banks, and particularly Black businesses. I mean, we deposit money, and we may contact the bank when we have are in need of loans or what have you, but we don't have real working relationships. Why is that important, And why is it important that you're in that place, in that position, to kind of steer the bank in the right direction to make sure that it's accountable to its depositors and investors?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're always learning along the way, but I think it's important from the business side to make sure that there's a relationship with the banker and that they know who you are and what your goals are, and to have a kind of a touch point. I think from the bank perspective, there are quite a number of parts of the bank that are working to support Black businesses and are working to support businesses in general. And me being in this seat sort of amplifies the voice, right? And make sure that, we are being thoughtful about all of our clients. And so I, I think it's one of those things where, the feedback is necessary and it's important. But also the work kind of has to come from both sides. We need to do work on the bank side too, and we're very committed to doing that.
And you, as a Black person, part Indian, and a a woman, what do you feel as though you bring to your position as vice president that maybe someone else might not bring?
Yeah, I mean, I think I bring a unique perspective. I think that I'm thoughtful with the background that I've had. I think I'm intentional about the work that I'm doing. I'm part of. There's two initiatives that I'm very proud of within the private bank. One is the Black Wealth Initiatives, and the other one is the Asian Wealth Initiatives. And being able to support individuals and families that are in my community and give them the resources of the private bank is something that makes it worthwhile in my day.
And role models, I want to ask too. Who has kind of been the role model for you, or role models for you?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly have had a lot of role models, and finance is a very male-dominated society. It still is, even though that's changing. So I've had male role models and I've had female role models, both inside the firm and outside the firm. I think sometimes from where I sit, I've had to look outside the firm to find what I want to achieve, what that looks like, and I'm willing to do that. But I also want to make sure that I'm thoughtful about the individuals who are analysts and who are associates and who are trying to get to where I am. And so I think I try to be a role model for others, and whatever I don't see or whatever I wish I had seen, I try to make sure that that's available to others.
We talked a lot about, career and business and what have you, and of course, what little Mina wanted to do when she grew up. What does Mina do when she's not working? I mean, are there other passions that you explore that kind of bring you joy just as much as the job? Some of us, get a lot of joy out of the work we do, but there may be other things too that bring us joy. What are yours?
Yeah, I mean, I do get a lot of joy out of my job, but when I'm not here, I have a 5-year-old, and she is my joy without a doubt, and she takes up my time without a doubt. So I'm trying to navigate that kind of work-life balance, and I think that it's always a challenge, but we the joy keeps propelling us forward, and I really appreciate having someone to keep me going at work and someone who definitely keeps me going at home.
And what does she want to do when she grows up? Has she thought about? I
uh,
mean, I know 5 is early, but that's the fun time because they
it's a
can
little
do
early.
all
She's
kinds of
just told
things.
me she wants to work like mommy. I'm like, uh-oh.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's amazing how, we set the example, they look at us and try to follow in our footsteps and what have you. So, that's good. A 5-year-old little girl. I know she's blessed to have you. And so for other women, that may be watching this, or even in your own organization, I mean, what advice would you give them as far as, advancing their career, or, getting that fulfilling position, or just being able to manage work-life balance, um, what kind of advice do you have to offer? Maybe on all three of those.
Yeah, I mean, they're all good questions. I would certainly say, first of all, kind of to your point earlier, like value what you bring to the table. You have a
Mhm.
unique perspective, you have an experience that no one else has, and you should certainly value that. I would also say you should build your community and make it broad. You know, test yourself in the situations that you are in. So if there is someone who you want to be like, or you don't know, or you want to have that experience, don't stay in your comfort zone. Reach out broadly and really try to talk to individuals. Make yourself seen, make yourself known. I think no one can get a sense of your ambitions unless you share them. And there are a lot of people who want to help along the way. So certainly reach out, and you might be surprised at what you find. Mhm.
Do you have a mentor?
I do. I have a few mentors.
Mhm.
I've got one within the bank in a different line of business who really is sort of business minded and keeps me on my toes and really pushes me. And then I have another mentor who is kind of the more empathetic. So I need both, right? I need
Uh-huh.
to push myself on the business side, and then I need somebody to go like, "Oh, today was tough. Like, can we just chat?" So.
When you did you, I mean, ask them to be your I'm
Oh
just
yeah.
trying to for people who
Yes.
are
Yes.
told you need to have a mentor. How do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's natural. When I
Mhm.
first started in finance, the CFO of my company was my mentor, and it was very sort of natural. I would come in and I would get advice, and I would ask questions, and it sort of developed naturally. But as I got higher up in my career, I was very intentional about it. And I saw a managing director who was doing well in the firm, and I wanted to make sure that I was connected to her and whatever her path was, that I could sort of bounce advice and say, how does this work within a bank? Am I doing this the right way? And so I did. I reached out and I said, is it all right? I'd love to kind of have a regular dialogue with you. Can we make this sort of a more formal practice?
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, you've given some great advice. I love your story, your journey, and just all that you shared. And can't wait to see what little Mina's going to do in the next 20 years, where she's going to end up. But I want to thank you so much for being with us and for sharing just your whole philosophy uh, in this Women's History Month moment. So appreciate you being with us.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time. So thank you for having me.
Sure, Mina. All right. Have a great one.
You too.
Right. Yeah. I could have gone on more longer with her, as you all know, because there's, I think, a lot that we as women can share with one another. But no, we're going to transition now and talk about the National Cherry Blossom Festival. So I want to welcome Meg, who is the Director of Marketing and Communications for the National Cherry Blossom Festival. Welcome to Win TV.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And I could have the same conversation with you, but we won't do that. We'll limit it to the cherry blossoms because fortunately I was there. We were there at the cherry blossom parade press conference last week and got the big news, which I will let you share with our viewers about when the cherry blossoms will be at peak bloom this year.
Sure. So, yes, the very highly anticipated news came out last week from our friends at the National Park Service that peak bloom is predicted for March 22nd through 25th. So, we are getting very close. We are going to open our tidal basin welcome area on March 18th. So that means we moved up our festival dates from March 20th to the 18th to fully embrace all that peak bloom has to offer. But it doesn't stop there. There is so much going on with the festival. We have over 60 events taking place over the now 5 weekends of the festival through April 16th. So there's so much to see and do. And this year, we're really inviting people to spring it on, no holds barred. Go out, have fun, embrace those memorable moments with friends and family, and that's really what we're all about: is to have a wonderful time with people and having this way that you can only see DC once a year.
You all had a video that was shared there. I really wish we could have shown it today, which I thought was really great. Just sort of an overall look at the Cherry Blossom Festival. But The other
Sure,
big
we can share that in the chat. I could share a link. Absolutely.
Well, why don't you do that? Why don't you do
Okay.
that? It was, I thought it was really, really good. But I
Mhm.
also make, if you can you talk a little bit about I know the mayor and other city officials participated in a bus tour from Boston to DC. I don't know
Yes.
if you were on that tour, but can you tell us a little bit about that and why that was a first, right?
It was absolutely fantastic. Our festival president, Diana Mayhew, was on the bus with members of the mayor's office, with Events DC, with Destination DC. So it was really about spreading the word to, people who are within a drivable distance here on the East Coast in particular to, follow the bus to spring. We started up in Boston and had really fun pop-up events with an artist, with giveaways and all kinds of fun blossom themed activities. And we brought the pink celebration all the way down the coast, and everybody loved it. We got such great feedback on social media. People were so excited to see us and really wanted to meet up and kind of get that little sneak peek at what the festival has to offer, because they know that DC is the place to be for spring. We like to say we own spring, and we want people to come down and be a part of it this year in particular. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, we know people, like my daddy used to say, Lottie Dottie and everybody comes from all over the place to participate in the Cherry Blossom Festival. I know that my favorite is the parade, of course. And I think, as I mentioned before we came on air, I used to bring my sons down to the kite event, which I think is always a lot of fun for kids to bring their kites and get a chance to watch them fly in the sky. But what are some of the other things that you can share with us that's going to happen from the 18th to the 16th of April?
Sure, sure. Yes, you definitely hit on some of the biggest ones that a lot of people know about. What's really cool about Blossom Kite Festival as well is that we're going to have events in featured parks in all 8 wards of DC and in Maryland and Virginia. So, even if you can't make it all the way down to the mall, which is so fun. I took my girls last year and they're still talking about it. It's just really something to see all those kites flying across the National Mall, but we want to bring it to the community as well and make it as accessible as possible. So we've got kite flying programming happening in Oxen Run. So our Oxen Run picnic is coming back. We're so excited about that. That is presented by Chase, and we've been working with the Friends of Oxen Run Park to put that together. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a Ward 8 vendor market with giveaways and free food and really fun activities and entertainment. That's going to be on April 2nd. And all of our other featured parks are going to be on April 1st. So that's actually, you can do the Blossom Kite Festival on the National Mall and go to your community event as well if you're really interested in the kite flying. So definitely recommend it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, look, it sounds like it. Of course, we will be there. The Washington Informer will be there to cover
Excellent.
and just to let folks know kind of how enjoyable this event is. And as I always say this, sometimes Washingtonians go in the opposite direction. I met a guy last year who's from Virginia who only came to the festival because he wanted to bring his little girl. He had never been ever. And I don't know who was having more fun, he or his daughter.
Yes, kids and kids at heart. Definitely fun for all ages, absolutely. And that's something that we're definitely looking to do is encourage local residents to embrace all that spring has to offer in DC. It can even start at your doorstep. We have this wonderful program with Amazon called Petal Porches where you can decorate your house. So, if you put away those Christmas decorations with a heavy heart, fear not. You can add another season to your decorating calendar, and it's so much fun. I think if you sign up in the next few days, you can even get a free yard sign. We send along a couple of decals to kind of help you with the decorating,
Oh,
but
nice.
it's a lot of fun. We have an official map, so you can even if you choose not to decorate, you can set a path to walk by them and just enjoy them out in your community, which I think is really great too. People love that map. They love being on the map. They love having those bragging rights. We get beautiful photos of, people are so creative. So we definitely recommend that as well. And, this year in particular, we've got a lot of regional events. So if you're looking to sort of whet your appetite with something that is a little closer to you, we've got a number of events happening in Northern Virginia and in Maryland as well. So you can always start there at Tyson's, Mosaic, Springfield Town Center, National Harbor, National Landing, as well as Montgomery. So, there are a lot of things that, depending on your needs or your schedule. I mean, I've got kids myself. I know it can be tricky getting them out. So, there's got to be something close to you. I would guarantee it from everything there is to offer.
Well, the Cherry Blossom Festival it seems like every year you try to, up your game. I'll put it that way. And it's always something new that invites so many people. One of the things I think, and I keep talking about Washingtonians who stay away, it's only because of the traffic. But,
Right.
Transportation to some of, what's going on. What do you have what would you advise people if they actually
Yes.
do want to come down to the tidal basin?
Absolutely. Yes. Metro is the best way to experience the festival. And, one thing that a lot of people may not know is that on weekends, parking at any Metro station is free and fares are $2 one way, and kids under 5 get to ride for free.
Mm.
So it's a really cost effective option. It's definitely the best way to get around. We've even got a commemorative Cherry Blossom Smart Trip card. I know plenty of people love to collect
Oh,
those.
yes.
So,
Uh-huh.
if you're if you're going to see the blossoms, you're probably going through L'Enfant. Pedalpalooza is taking place at Navy Yard Metro and Metro Center. Those are the 3 that are going to have the Metro Smart Trip card. So, you can have that little memento. But yes, they are, Metro is fantastic. And DDOT has a custom map, a Go DC Go map. I can actually share a link to that too, with all kinds of information about how to use DC Circulator. Keep an eye out for the Blossom Bus. We've got a wrapped cherry blossom bus that's going to be, encouraging everyone to spring it on, for only $1 to get straight to the blossoms.
Wow.
And new this year, the DC streetcar, which of course is free to go up and down each street, is also going to be wrapped in cherry blossoms. So
Okay.
it's not even just getting to the blossoms, you get to experience the blossoms on the way. We are looking to go everywhere with this city in bloom.
And for those that don't know, I don't know all the locations, but not only do we have cherry blossoms down at the tidal basin, but there are cherry trees, I should say, not blossoms, but cherry trees that have been planted in other parts of the city. So when you talked about
Yes.
Oxen Run, I know that there are cherry trees over there. I'm trying to find them, so I'm going to be there looking for them in about a week. But
Yeah,
are there other places?
No, absolutely. The Oxen Run is actually the second largest cherry tree grove next to the tidal basin in the area. So it's really fantastic. We actually planted a bunch of trees there last, I think it was 2021 was
Mhm.
when we planted trees there. So they should be blossoming this year along with some of the other trees that were planted earlier. There are a number of other areas where you can see the blossoms. Haynes Point, the East Potomac Park. A lot of people may not know that you could go on the other side and see more blossoms there. And the interesting thing is that different kinds of blossoms bloom at different times. So even, a lot of people know the Yoshinos at the tidal basin, but there are other trees that are blooming throughout the entire festival season. So,
Wow.
and there are even some blossoms at Capitol Riverfront for Pedalpalooza, which will be on April 8th. So, we are looking to still be blossoming then. And, we've still got the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge lit up in pink, fireworks going on that night. So even if there aren't blossoms nearby, we are going to be blossoming. But yeah.
Wonderful. Well, for viewers, you heard it here. You don't want to miss this, what is it, almost 3-4 week party that's happening in Washington, D.C. to spring on and invite spring into the D.C. area. We had a little hint of it before, but this is the real spring. So, Meg, thank you so very much for being with us and for sharing all this and extending this invitation to all of our viewers. Hope to see them all and you
Yes.
sometime
Yes.
between the March 18th and what is it,
April 16th.
April 16th. Yes, we got
Yes.
lots of time to plan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And yes, please visit our website, nationalcherryblossomfestival.org, to sign up for our emails, add our events to your calendar, and follow us on social, Cherry Bloss Fest and Cherry Blossom Festival on Facebook. So thank you so much. Really
All right.
appreciate it. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too. So we're running a little bit over, but I had to share that with you all. And now we're going to bring on Victor, who runs VTech Solutions. He's the founder, president, and CEO. Welcome to Win TV, Victor. How are you?
I am doing well, and happy Women History Month to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Glad to recognize.
I have to recognize, I mean, you're out there making history every day, contributing to the culture of the district as well as the national culture. So I definitely applaud you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. So what is VTech Solutions and how are you solving problems?
Well, we're a health technology and professional service company. Started it 22 years ago, and our focus was primarily in technology, which morphed into health. And what we're doing right now, we work with the various managed care organizations in the district, and we're doing outreach and education support for them, particularly in the 7th and 8th wards of the district. And what does that mean? So the Medicaid recipients out there, a lot of times they do not know what all they have access to and what the wraparound services may be. And so we work with the managed care organizations to contact, to identify, to educate those recipients, and then work with them to assist in overcoming any type of barriers they may have that could prevent them from getting to a primary care physician or a medical facility. A lot of times it could be transportation, it could be lack of daycare because they may have 1 or 2 kids that do not need an appointment at that time. It may not have someone to watch them. So we work with them so that they understand the full scope of what their benefits are and be able to make those appointments so that they can continue on a healthy pathway as it relates to their day-to-day.
So how do you connect with that community, or how do they connect with you?
So we connect with the community. So we have community health workers that scour the city in all 8 wards. And what we do is we know who the recipients are. Believe it or not, 700,000 residents in the district, 260 plus thousand are on some type of Medicaid. And with that said, we're targeting individuals that may be between the age of 0 and 21 years of age. Kids. And sometimes those kids have kids. So we can bring a whole family together where there may be a 19-year-old mother and a child, and we're helping that mother to overcome whatever barriers that they may be. And a lot of times it's fear of doctor, as what folks call white coat fear. And they don't want to go to the doctor. It's fear of resource. I mean, they don't have the resources that they need. So we're working with them to overcome that. And we're able to see those who are at risk because within the program, you have to have appointments every so often. And so when we're looking at the ones who have not gone in, those are the ones that we're targeting. We're, seeking to understand why they can't get in, how we can help, informing them of benefits. Well, I can't go because of this. Oh, but we can help you overcome that. I can't do this because of that. Oh no, we have travel vouchers. We can get you in an Uber. We can get you in the Lyft. We can get you bus passes or whatever to get you there. And that sometimes someone may need to be escorted in just due to a health condition.
Mm.
And we can provide that service as well.
Wow, something on a story side, Victor, I'd love to talk to you more about, because it seems as though the more we try to improve the quality of healthcare, particularly in the Black community, your services are needed because we are not making the progress maybe that we want to make or should be making. And so your services provide, at least help to address that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's what we're doing. And you know, when they see us, born, raised in DC, so speak the language, then lived in 3 of the 4 quadrants, you know, around the city.
Mm-hmm.
My team, one of the unique niches that we bring is that most of us are from the district or the DMV area. And so understand, know the city, know how to get around the wards, know what to expect in certain wards and how to handle and how to address those folks in those wards.
How are you bringing in the faith community? And I know that you have a job fair coming up. I want to hear a little bit about that as
The
well.
faith community, it goes back to the beginning of time as it relates to the Black and Brown community. Where did we learn that? Who told us, you know, hey, we have Dr. Jones sitting in the congregation. So the faith-based community is very important in getting messaging out. And when you think about it, the faith-based community, a lot of them, they're passing out food, they're passing out clothes, they're having health fairs or wellness days themselves. So by being able to work with them, we are able to identify folks in that area where we can bring them in, we can point them in the right direction and get them seen. A lot of folks are already in the program, but they're not taking advantage of the program to leverage all the benefits that they have access to.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's not a time to really cast judgment. It's really a time to try to help get folks into places so that they can,
Mm-hmm.
live fulfilling lives. And I'm glad that you're doing that. You have a job fair coming up. I wanted you
Yeah,
to
we have a
mention that
job
out
fair
there.
tomorrow that
Mm-hmm.
we're very, very excited about. And it's going to be at our corporate headquarters at 1720 Wisconsin Avenue in Georgetown. The job fair is going to be from 10 to 3. And we're looking for community health workers. We're looking for home health aides. And I'm really going to stress that home health aides. I need DC certified home health aides that we can put to work almost immediately. I'm always looking for licensed social workers that are licensed in the district as a LICSW or LGSW. We are looking for bus attendants to support us as it relates to the DC public school buses for the children with disabilities. And we're actively hiring for those positions. Right now, we have 104 positions to fill just for bus.
Whoa.
So I invite everybody to come out. It's going to be a fun day. Let us know who you are. You get to come and see who we are. And hopefully something can come out of it. And you're walking away with the opportunity to have a new job.
So we know, quite honestly, a lot of folks may not even see this program until maybe sometime next week. Can they still apply?
Yes, they can apply. www.the-techsolutions.net, or they and just click on our job opportunities, and you'll see a list of jobs that we have locally, as well as jobs that we have across the country. And if it's something that you're interested in, we invite you to submit your application and resume.
Well, I think solutions is a good name, a good word to use as part of your name. And that people that want, I always say lately, there are always these people out there that's, something happens and they always say, somebody needs to do something about that. And it sounds like VTech Solutions is one of those somebody or some organization that's trying to address the problem, whatever some of the problems are that our community is facing. And so I want to thank you so much for being with us. We hope that folks will come out tomorrow, or that you can get those positions filled, because that's people helping people, plus helping themselves because they get paid, right?
People helping people and helping themselves, but at the same time contributing to their communities, and putting that pathway together as it relates to their personal and to their families for a better tomorrow. So we look
Wonderful.
forward to them coming out.
All right, Victor Holt, thank you so very much for being with us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All righty. There are lots of jobs out here, folks. So if somebody's looking for work, first of all, let them know. If you tell them to contact VTech Solutions, there's a job fair tomorrow, but then they'll be able to still sign up if they don't make it to the job fair. Sounds like some great opportunities for district residents here to help folks. And speaking of helping people, I'm happy to bring on Janelle Delaney, who is a licensed insurance agent and creator of Insure the Juice. Okay, I'm trying to get that one too, Janelle. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and how did you end up in the insurance business?
Well, first I'd like to say thank you so much, Ms. Denise, for having me on. It's such a pleasure. I am very, very honored. I've been a fan of you and your movement in the paper since I've been in high school. I went to high school with your son, so I know about it since then, and that was just a few years ago. So
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was not that long ago. I'm really glad that you said since high school. That's a good, that means a lot to us, that we're reaching an audience and hopefully continuing to do that. So thank you so much for that shout out. But I'm trying to understand more about what you're doing with Insure the Juice.
Thank you. Insure the Juice. We are, again, we talked about this earlier. We is me for now. We are a company of insurance and health. We are bridging health and wealth and just introducing it in a new way with a twist so people can understand the correlation of them both. In our community, about 6 out of 10 people do not qualify for life insurance because of the state of their health, due to high blood pressure, diabetes, and the different medicines that we're on. We either have to get very high ratings, or we do not qualify at all, which I know can be very disappointing to people, and that leaves our family and our assets not being protected. So with my background in having a holistic business for the past 4 years, I decided to tack on insurance to take people a step further in protection. It's been a very interesting journey, because most people, they're like, how does this even go together? But then once they realize that, wow, my health is that important, that I can do even more the healthier I am, then yeah, tell me more about this. So I'm looking at it as a full service when it comes to helping people just grow, not only financially, but in a healthy way, and pass that on to their families in a generational wealth and health. Because these are things that unfortunately we haven't been doing, but we can start to, and have a different outlook on our community.
So help me out here. So I am, I won't, let's pretend,
Okay.
even though we're not really pretending. So let's say I'm 35 years old, right? And I don't have insurance, right? And, I've got, my doctors just told me I'm pre-diabetic. Now I'm recognizing, okay, this might affect my ability to get health insurance. I call, what is it? Insure
the Juice.
The Juice, right? I call Insure the Juice. What do you do? What do you tell me? What do you do for me, or what do you help me to do for myself to address both of those issues?
Well, the first thing we would do is inform. We would start with the health, because again, when you get life insurance, you don't want to get the highest rating. We do also want to make sure this is something that's affordable for people, where you can start at whatever the best amount is for you, and then you can grow as your income grows. So you want to start at a comfortable rate. So we will start with the health first. I just released a juice book. So people can go on there. It's a 3-day juice fast. It can be reached on my Instagram, or you can email me directly for the free link. And we can start there. Juicing has been one of my favorite things to do to help my health. And I've introduced it to other clients and friends. So that's the first thing we would start at. Okay, cutting these certain things out of your diet, introducing some fresh pressed juices, and getting you off of the diabetic route. You can go back to your doctor after, and it's up to you how you commit. I can't do that part for anyone. I wish I could. I've tried it, but I can't make anyone do anything. I can give you the tools, I can give you the knowledge, but you have to put that work in. So if we make those things clear that these are suggestions of what you should do, and you do that, you will be going into a different direction. Once you do that and you're clear from your doctor, immediately let's get the life insurance, because once you get checked that one time, especially at 35, depending on the policy that you get, and I always suggest a whole life policy, especially for people 35, because you can build cash value on that. And by the time you come to your retirement age, you have a nice amount of money that you can borrow from, or you can continue to use as supplemental income. Whatever it is you want to do, you have started an investment in yourself. And you won't get checked again with your health. So I'm not saying you have to stay on it forever, but at the least, so you can get life insurance. After that, of course, you would think that most people would say, oh, I'm feeling a lot better, and let me stay on this route. But that doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, and it's interesting how we just segued from, VTech solutions of people who just haven't taken their health into their own hands, and recognizing, it's not only just getting to the doctor's office, but it's also life insurance, right?
Yes.
Because especially if you have people in your family that you at least want to help, in case you don't do it, can help to bury you. In case something happens, it just sounds like it's a good piece. And a lot of people who are watching now are saying they love it. They like the health, and they like the combination. So that's a good deal. Have you, do you have any success stories? Anything you can share with us about folks? Because it sounds a little, challenging, but it sounds good. But any success stories?
Yes. So again, I've been having an holistic business for the past 4 years, where I was working with more herbal supplements and food, as far as like eating plant-based and juicing. I have a number of clients who have stopped taking their insulin, and they're off diabetes. The last client I had in North Carolina, my website, it was online, so I had clients all over the country. But last week, I had a client who called me from North Carolina, and he let me know that he got my information from his girlfriend's mom, who went to the doctor, and she had some respiratory issues. And because of her respiratory issues, she wasn't able to get a particular surgery that she wanted. And she started taking some of the supplements and juicing. And not only did she not have to get the surgery, but she also is completely changed her diet. And just things like that. And he said that's how he came to me. So it's just, I get stories from, and some of these things do take time because it is a holistic route. It's not medicine. It is reversing different things in your body, and, medicine won't work immediately. So I'll get calls weeks, months, sometimes years later, and they're like, oh, you changed my life. And I'm like, no, you changed your life. I just gave you some tools, but thank you so much. So the success stories are constantly coming in. And my favorite success story would be my own. Growing up, I had extreme asthma and allergies and was in and out of the hospital. Once I changed my diet and started juicing a lot more, I don't have any more of those problems. So that's how we got started, just helping myself.
So I'm still trying to make this connection, because you sell insurance also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So with the insurance, it's I'm finding that a lot of people my age, 30 something, and younger are not insured.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not insured because we think that, oh, this is something we should do later on in life. We should be looking into this once we get older, or I don't have any children, I don't need to worry about this. But one thing that we can do right now, because most people are into investing, and life insurance is an investment tool. Again, like when we get the whole life policies, we build cash value. And that is something that we can begin to use before the death benefit. Essentially, we can become our own banks. And that's something that I want to teach the younger community, especially entrepreneurs, because it's always nice to have a little bit of extra money coming in when you are going towards an entrepreneurial route. This is a way that you can borrow from yourself and still have that protection. So you have two things happening at once. And a lot of people, they're just not very familiar with that. A lot of my entrepreneurs, artists especially, because this day and age, just people are dying a lot younger, and they're leaving their children behind with nothing. They're leaving their families behind. And we're coming into a GoFundMe culture that is actually very stressful for the families when they have to try to find money from this person, money from that person, and then it happens again. So we're just trying to bring I'm looking at the comments too.
I know. I was like, I'm going to have to give you a room on the side so that you can sell your policies to, I don't know if it's your sister or whomever, but.
Yes. So we just want to make sure.
Sign them up.
Yes, for sure. So we just want to make sure that people are aware of their options in both ways. So that's how we're tying in the insurance, just bringing them in with the health and tying them down with the insurance.
No, I think it's excellent because it's you're not only talking about creating or having insurance policies that can help people upon death, but really you're talking about a living investment. One, investing in your body with the proper nutrition and what have you, and then also investing in a policy that allows you to save for yourself.
Yes.
So we need more conversations like this, and I'm glad that you are out there talking to people. And how are you marketing your product? I mean, we've got you here, so hopefully that will help as well. But what are you doing?
I go outside, I meet people, I talk to people, I use social media. Wherever I go, I just ask people, hey, are you insured? Like, are you protecting yourself? Or, especially a lot of young parents out here, entrepreneurs, people who are looking for, I really just want to educate people. So yes, of course, if I can get a person signed up with a policy, that's amazing. But I feel good letting people know what I've learned and what can be helpful to them, and maybe for them or someone else, they can pass it along. So I mostly do I work off a lot of referrals and just meeting people in my day-to-day.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, Janelle, I'm glad you took a little time out to spend with us and to share Insured. I keep forgetting it. Insure the Juice. I want to say Insure Your Juice, but Insure the Juice.
Insure the Juice, because you are the juice. That's
right.
I'm getting that.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it.
Yes.
Now. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I'm going to pass it along as well as what we do here for WIN TV. I think it's important that you also, as a young person, are sharing the information that so many of us need, and sometimes way too late or never do it all.
Exactly.
So, and we're not in jobs necessarily that, these days that provide that insurance. I think back in the day, at least your employer would be able to, at least sign you up for something. But a lot of our folks are, like you said, they're creatives, they're working for themselves, and just haven't really thought about it. So,
right. And even with the jobs, that is temporary, because if you lose the job or once you retire or anything, when you're not connected with the job anymore, a lot of the times the insurance goes away as well. So it's good just to make sure you are protected on your own.
Wonderful. So, okay, so I keep saying goodbye and then we talk a little bit more,
Okay,
but
so
I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you so very much for being with us at Win
thank
TV.
you. I appreciate it.
All righty. And you have a wonderful time. It's okay to call me Denise. That's fine.
Okay.
We'll talk soon. Take care.
Thank you. Peace.
All righty. Bye-bye. So that's it for our show today. We've run a little over like we do from time to time, but we want you to stay tuned for our Women's History Month video by Curtis Knowles. And we'll see you back here next week when we'll be talking to women in the media as part of our Black Women in History series. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great weekend. And don't forget about the time change on Monday night, Monday morning, 2 a.m. Change that time and make sure you go to sleep a little bit earlier so you won't be so tired the next day. Anyway, this is Denise Rollard Barnes, Win TV, signing off. Have a great one.
Entrepreneur, philanthropist, and activist Madam C.J. Walker rose from poverty in the South to become one of the wealthiest African-American women of her time. She used her position to advocate for the advancements of all Black Americans. Born Sarah Breedlove on December 23, 1876, on a plantation in Delta, Louisiana. Walker's life took a dramatic turn in the year 1904, for that was the year that not only she began using the African-American businesswoman Annie Turbo Malone's, quote, the great wonderful hair grower, but she also joined Malone's team of Black woman sales agents. A year later, Walker moved to Denver, Colorado, where she married adman Charles Joseph Walker, renamed herself Madam CJ, and with only $1.25 launched her own line of hair products and straighteners for African-American women, known as Madam Walker's Wonderful Hair Grower. Through her profits, she became the first African-American millionaire. The Bowie Business Innovation Center, or BIC, announced the appointment of June Lee Williams Evans as its new executive director. The BIC is a nonprofit business accelerator located at Bowie State University, where its function is to provide entrepreneurs and small businesses located in the county the support needed to accelerate their revenue, growth, and ability to create jobs. Evans started her leadership of the center in September of 2022 after having served for 13 years leading the Center for Minority Business Development. Evans is also expected to launch the 8A Government Contracting Center of Excellence, a new $3 million federal pilot program designed to deliver targeted resources to strengthen historically Black colleges and universities by helping disadvantaged companies fully participate in the U.S. Small Business Administration 8A Business Development Program.